Welcome back, guys. Got a little break there, a little 5 or 6 minute break, and up next for you we got the Southern Cal. It's the OC Stunners against Southern Exposure. Southern Exposure's out of Florida, and we got a lot of bright colors out here with a lot of new jerseys. Excited to see this one. This is going to be a big match. I don't know too much about Southern Exposure. I see some familiar faces. This is a very physical team. They're going to bring a lot of power, and definitely going to be a task for the Stunners to shut them down. Now, if you're not familiar with the Stunners are one remaining team from the league last year, and these guys bring some of the most veteran players in the league all together in one place. We're going to see names like Matt Hilling, an outside hitter that's got a wealth of international experience. Nick West, who played at UC Irvine as well as Hawaii, another guy that's just got a wealth of overseas experience. And they've got a couple Canadian guys that they brought in, and I've been playing against those guys in the gym, and I got to tell you, they swing at some balls that are going to be a really exciting look for this team. Now, one thing that will be very interesting to see unfold is going to be, sorry, I'm watching these guys, my bad. One thing that's going to be very interesting to see unfold here as this all goes on is that they have a smaller roster than a lot of these teams, so it's going to be pretty imperative that these guys are staying fresh, and there we are. Knocked a couple cables loose, so if I can get some support out here, that'd be good. I'm hearing a lot of feed through. But basically, these guys are going to be a smaller roster, so you really want to see them winning early to keep their guys as fresh as possible. But they're just going to be finishing their hitting lines here. We've got a couple minutes, about 10 minutes, and we're going to go live. But definitely going to be keeping an eye on the offensive side of the Stunners. Their pin hitters have a ton of experience, and What's really going to be interesting to see, though, is how those middles apply. If you're familiar with the YouTube series Legacy, Olivia, our sideline reporter, actually was the one that worked with NCAA champions Long Beach State in 2019. She got a chance to work alongside middle blocker here Nick Amato from Long Beach State. And if I can get a little bit of tech support out here, I had a ball hit some cables, so it's pretty loud. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of authority that the middles are going to have to find a way to stop from Southern Exposure. Going to have to find a way to stop the stunners. But I do know for Southern Exposure that they are bringing in a lot of size in their front row. So their ability to get some touches up front are really going to make sure that they've got to get some back row defense playing around them. But this should be a good set. We started off the day with Stingers and the Matadors taking us to 5. And you know, I think this match might be another one that goes right back to 5. Now, I did mention earlier that this is in the National League. So the National League is joined also by the Las Vegas Ramblers and Team Freedom. The way that the day is structured is that we're going to be bouncing a match back and forth between the American League and the National League. So that way that no team has to play a back-to-back best of 5 if the way that their pool unfolds that they have 2 staggered pieces. But right now we've got Olivia live with a little word from the coaches. Olivia?
Nick, Coach, you said earlier this week that offensive power was really going to be key in this match. What was your message to the team?
The message was not to be timid, go after it, attack, and let's see what happens, rip and dip.
Which players can we look to for you to go to on those offensive decisions?
Big right side Joe, our middle Kevin Vaz, and we have a couple outsides. We're going to start here first with Caleb. So those are our offensive weapons right now.
What's going to be key in putting this one away?
Attacking at the serve line and just being aggressive on the offensive side.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Nick?
Awesome. Always great to hear. And, you know, such a big part of the league that we're trying to start here is we really want to develop teams that are all over the U.S. so you really get a flavor of how the different regions in the states all play. And so, like I said, you know, as a West Coast guy, I haven't really seen a whole lot of these Southern Exposure players. But, I mean, you know some of them from the NCAA scene and stuff like that. So it's always exciting to see a new team come out. But getting a first-hand look from these teams and these coaches, it's always great for to hear that insight. And I think we're going to hear a little bit from the Stunners in a bit. But, you know, I'm a little bit more familiar naturally with the Stunners, being in the gyms, practicing against these guys. I played with them last season. And as we decided to grow teams, there was a chance to expand. So, you know, this is a team that's really going to be exciting. And they don't have returner Canadian outside hitter Ray Zetto with them this season. But Ray made sure the team had the Canadian presence still, so he has brought in a couple new faces for them. So that's where we're going to see Joey Jarvis as well as Terrell Bromwell. Both these guys absolutely fly and hit with authority, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see how they all unfold and connect with this offense. So as they were stating, though, with Southern Exposure, the name Kevin Vaz was mentioned. Kevin is an absolute offensive weapon, and he is an opposite and a middle that played at Pepperdine. Previously, I believe he was with Cal Baptist before their men's program shut down, so he went ahead and shifted over to Pepperdine, if I'm not mistaken. And he's absolutely someone you got to keep an eye on. That guy, he's a blocking weapon and an offensive threat, absolutely. So looking forward to see what he can do. And we're going to see these teams clearing the court, and they're going to start getting ready. Last little thoughts. And we're going to be getting starting lineups in soon. So excited to see how this all unfolds, and definitely hoping that it delivers the same way the last match did, and maybe gets off to a little bit of a smoother start. So we're going to toss it over there to hear a little bit more from Olivia. Olivia, take it away.
Hey, Coach, earlier this week you said that it's really important to get 3 to 4 points in a row. How do you do that in this match?
So just consistency behind the service line. We need guys to really rip it. We're trying to get the other team out of system so that we can transition free balls if they send us easy opportunities. We just need to capitalize when the opportunity is there. And if we do that, you know, just get the other team in trouble, then with our serve, then I think we'll be fine.
What players are you going to be looking to specifically on that offensive end?
Definitely Matt Hilling, one of our go-to guys. We got Joey Jarvis, our other pin, and then one of our best players is probably Nick Amato in the middle. So we're going to set him a lot.
You also mentioned that this team has a lot of winning experience. How key will that be today?
It's huge. I mean, just the wisdom in knowing when to strike and when to hold your cards close to your chest. It goes a long way in volleyball in general.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Nick?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Once again, hearing from Kirk Francis, previous Long Beach State guy, heading out that team. Might see him play a little bit later as a libero, but for right now, we're going to see Garrett Como taking over the helm for them. As the teams are going ahead and getting lined up, we're going to see some friendly waves. If you weren't here previously, we've been doing a lot of work to make sure that everyone is being COVID friendly here. So masks are being worn by all officials. Everyone is making sure that they're being very mindful of social distancing, things like that. And so what we're seeing is teams are not going to be changing sides at all. So they're going to maintain their same spot no matter what game it is. And teams will not be high-fiving before or after the set. They're going to be just kind of acknowledging each other with waves, making sure everyone says hello, a friendly hello. And with that, though, we're going to be getting after it. And so definitely excited to see what this match brings. If you guys are just joining us, this is the second set. We have 4 days. We've got 25 matches, best of fives coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah. And so definitely very excited. We're very excited to see how this all unfolds. Sorry here. All right. All right, so they're all lining it up. And I had a ball hit my mic here, so I'm just getting things adjusted. Sorry about that, guys. But we're getting everything ready to go here, and so we're going to see things unfolding. If you guys haven't been with us just yet, we're going to have scores updating live on the stream here for you. We're trying to check out the YouTube chat, so if you guys have anything to say, I think that's going live. I'm not sure if that's active right now or not, but just definitely looking for the best way to engage with all our fans. If you guys haven't already, go check out nvausa.com. All of the teams have gotten brand new websites, making sure to overhaul them so you can see where all these players are from, find out what their background's all about, little statements about the team and exactly what they're trying to do. So little bit of insight that the league is working really hard to make sure that as we develop the league, we're also developing these teams to give you guys a sense of who you're cheering for and how to have some pride in your local teams. So definitely some guys that are playing right now, some Titans that are easy to get behind, so excited. And one of the big things, I'm a big fan this year, we've got a lot of vibrant, bright colors, also a large variety of colors. There is nobody holding back and making sure they show their flashiness. So we're about to have a battle of the pink and teal going on. Liberos for Southern Exposure are looking fantastic in their baby blue and pink, and it's going to be a good look. So last match we had the bright yellow against the nice royal blue of the Utah Stingers and the Matadors there, so it'll be a good time. Right now, I wish I had an estimate on how this was going to go, but I don't. I don't even have a guess. Really, the offense is going to be pretty impressive to see from the Stunners, and I think that the blocking side of Southern Exposure is going to match up very well with them, and we're going to see how these two teams battle it out. As we get into it all here, an important thing to keep in mind is, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the bigger the roster, the better teams are going to tend to do here. We are playing at least 4 matches per team with upwards of 7, and so that's where the Stunners team, they've got to be efficient. They've got to find their wins. They don't have a lot of subs over there. Looking at Southern Exposure, much like the Matadors, they've got an army of guys sitting at the end of the bench. So if something's not working, they've got a variety of options. We might see this team going into the bench, making some subs if they need to, but you know, it's one at a time. Definitely excited to see how these guys are managing their team, and that's something that we're going to kind of see as the tournament unfolds across the board. So this is going to be our first match over the National League, and ready to see these guys get going. Lineups are getting turned in, and I'm not sure what we're waiting on just at the moment.
Rock, paper, scissors for what? Who changes? No, home team is dark.
See the Southern Exposure guys heading to their bags. I wonder if they're having to grab some masks or something like that. But
hey, put this on record. We're home team. I know I'm looking like it's a camera.
Jerseys. There it is. Olivia hitting me with the, oh, that's what it is. They were wearing black, and so they were matching. Olivia hit me with the sideline reporter IQ over here. So they're going to be switching over, it looks like, to the baby blue. So when I was talking bright colors earlier, it is about to get a lot brighter, if I'm not mistaken. But Stunners over here keep them warm, just making sure they're ready to go. Once again, we're in Utah, so some of these SoCal teams, we still have 85 degrees going over there every day, so we get back out here, and it's looking like we're expecting some snow on Saturday. So we're excited to see all this unfold, but some of us, mainly me, did not pack accordingly, and so, you know, I wish I was out there peppering with the guys ready to keep it warm, but here I am keeping all of you guys warm and friendly here at the NVA. We're just having a good time. Do we have starting lineups by chance? Not yet? Okay. Starting lineups are heading my way, so then we'll have a little more insight exactly what we're kind of looking for on the looks here. One of the big things that, ball coming in. One of the big things that we're looking to see here in the league as we continue to grow in the next year and everything is instead of doing large one-weekend events like this, the NVA has the plans to be hosting events based on the league, and so there's going to be a consistent several months where we've got events going on throughout the weekends where teams are going to be playing against their league, and you know, as we continue to up our production value as a team here, giving you multi-camera shots, working with the sideline reporters, we're going to be continuing to really improve what it means to be playing volleyball here in the U.S. And so while we continue that side, I think the most exciting part is that younger players are definitely getting excited and finding a way to be involved in the league. We've got guys that have been playing overseas professionally, and they're finding their way back here to the States and, you know, getting involved. And that's always something that at the NVA we value, and we find a way to, you know, measure our success. When guys want to be home playing here in the U.S. and we're able to provide a way that they can do that, you know, that's a great way to measure our successes, and we're really, really excited to see that unfold and also give, you know, players in other countries, like we said, Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico, they're all here making appearances. So it's cool to see some other guys from other cultures, other experiences. They're, you know, the way they play volleyball is going to be different, and we're seeing that unfold live here in the NVA. So definitely hoping to give you guys a good look at what that looks like, and definitely want to keep an eye on the Stunners offense against the defense of Southern Exposure. We've got that large Mikasa ball that's blowing up behind me, and I got to tell you, that thing is taking enough air that I could talk all weekend if I had that much in my lungs. But we got a leaf blower going behind me, and everyone's still sorting out jerseys, but I think we're all good, and we're gonna get live. We just want to make sure that not only do we look good on the court, but we look good looking good on the court. So all those guys are all squared away, I think, now with the jerseys. Refs look like they're getting ready to get us underway, and got the lineups coming into me right now, so we'll share with you guys what we can expect. Yep. All right. Give me 1 second, guys, here. I'm making sure I got the right lineups for you. All right, so what we got for Southern Exposure, we're going to have Eddie Mushikian. We've got Kevin Voss, Joe Norman, Tim Lurich, Caleb Denmark, and Will Cornell. And then for what we're seeing for the Stunners is the Stunners are going to be starting Jeff Schmitz, Nick Amato, Joey Jarvis, Mike Freytag, Terrell Bromwell, and Mr. Matt Hilling. I need 1 second, I'm going to copy that. right, sorry about that. I was just getting my lineups all set. Everyone's on the court, and we are getting ready to go. Serve looks like it's going to be starting on the side of the Stunners, if I'm not mistaken. But no one seems to want to line up for that service. In chat, AJ says, loving all the camera angles. Hey, glad to hear it. You know, we want to definitely up the production value and make sure you're not just getting one camera angle. We want to keep improving as a team over here as the NBA and make sure that we're giving you guys a product that makes you want to watch volleyball here in the U.S. Team Freedom and Tyrants. Yeah, definitely excited to, I'm actually going to be playing Freedom this afternoon on the Las Vegas Ramblers, and then excited to see the Tennessee Tyrants. They're a brand new team, once again rocking that bright, vibrant orange. Excited to see what those guys can bring to the NBA. Definitely stoked to see it. Sorry for the delay here, guys. I believe we can do it. All right, the final jersey change has been made. Southern Exposure is now ready to play. NVA fans, let's get after it. It is time for some volleyball. And with that, number 6, Kevin Vaz is heading to the back line to start us off. Looking for a big jump serve out of him. Put some pressure on the Stunners early to make sure that they are ready to battle with some serve receive. They're getting the 3-ball system set up real quick to make sure that we've always got fresh, clean balls ready for the guys to play with. Big shout out to Mikasa, the official ball sponsor of the NBA. Huge thank you to you guys, and also huge thank you to Utah Athletic Center for hosting us. Been a great weekend so far, and excited to see it continue. Big serve from Kevin. Jeff Schmidt's able to track it down and get a touch, but just not able to make it work. That's a definite way to start off the match, and a big impression on the first swing from Kevin Vaz from the back line. Number 7. Mr. Joey Jarvis unable to handle that serve. Quite a bit of heat there. Southern Exposure's bench definitely ready to celebrate as well. Jump serve coming again. Finds it, Matt Hilling with a perfect pass out of the back row. Jeff Schmitz goes to the outside, and Joey shows his size, finds a way to get a tip over the top and gets a piece of number 20 on the side, Joe Norman. Jeff Schmitz, the setter for Stunners, heading to the back line right now. That's going to put a 3-hitter front row lineup coming at us. Float serve, passed well, going straight up for the right side. That's going to be a net called on the Stunners. Number 7, they're going after that swing, go a little bit too aggressive. It's a decent pass for Southern Exposure there, and they find themselves having a couple options, and they go for number 20, Joe Norman there, and he draws the net. He's on the back line now, which is going to put the setter here front row for Southern Exposure. Good pass for the Stunners. Jeff Schmitz goes backside. Joey Jarvis with a swing, chiseled it off the outside, and no defense is played there by Southern Exposure, and that's a kill for the Stunners. Joey Jarvis on the back line here. He's going to be going for a little float hybrid. Good pass by Southern Exposure. They go straight away for the big option. Handled well, good touch on the block. Goes to the outside, quick swing from Matt Hilling. Handled well by Southern Exposure, and they're going to the backside D-ball. Joe Norman finds it down the line, dug by Garrett Como, going to the outside. Matt Hilling once again going for a swing, goes for a throw, gets over the top. Wow. Matt Hilling showing off his athleticism and absolutely throwing that ball down in the middle of the court. Now, a big thing to watch about Matt Hilling is this guy runs one of the fastest tempo sets to the outside, and what that allows him to do is absolutely beat blockers, and if you don't respect him, get a second blocker up, he loves swinging hard cross court, and he will make you pay for it. Sets like that, though, will make him a very easy option for a longtime friend, Jeff Schmidt, who goes and gets that ball right out to the pin. Southern Exposure Exposure adjusting their lineup, it appears, maybe out of rotation, not too sure. There's a little discussion, I think, right now about who's served first. I'm trying to kind of get the gist of it on the sidelines, but everyone seems to be forgetting that Kevin Vaz served first. I hear people talking about number 20, Joe Norman, serving first, but then again, I could be wrong, just coming in halfway through the conversation. I'm just here to call. What does it see it? All right, looks like we're ready. So Joey Jarvis lining up. He's finding his serving target. Number 20, Joe Norman, making sure that he knows, but there's a timeout called. Southern Exposure is just not ready in the rotation. They got to figure out where they're at, recenter their guys, but definite mind games getting played right now. Everyone finding their guys. So Joey Jarvis going after. He knows what his serving target is. Now in the last match, if you were tuned in, we definitely saw the Matadors early coming out, that they knew exactly who they wanted to serve. And we're seeing the same thing coming out from the Stunner squad. They've got a game plan and they know what they want to do to execute. So definitely excited to see how this unfolds. But haven't seen too much yet. There's been a little bit of a slow start getting everyone going, so things will start to unfold here. All right, Joey Jarvis once again back to serve. He's going to be hitting that little no spin toss float serve. He loves going straight down the line. Goes short there, picks on Joe Norman. Middle attack, wow. Great tempo on that set. Number 19 finding, that's Will Cornell. Just absolutely finding his middle there. We're seeing Joe Norman serve once again, and it seems like there was some out of rotation. The only way to adjust it was to call the timeout, and they seem to have reset their lineup here. So Joe's back on the back line. Float serve short into the net. Easy points for Stunners. That's an easy bailout. You don't want to see that early on in the game, but that's going to put number 25 here back on the line. Michael Freytag, the middle, 6'8", hailing from New York City for the Stunners. Goes back to float, finds a good serve, good pass by Southern Exposure's libero, big swing, and that's a huge block by the Stunners. Nick Amato finds a big touch, and that puts it deep into the court. No one home from Southern Exposure for that block touch. Freytag back to serve once again. Got a front row setter for the Southern Exposure, so on a tight pass, be ready to see a jam come down in a little dump action. It's a good pass by Southern Exposure. Goes backside, D-ball. Good touch by Matt Hilling, kept on the side of Southern Exposure. Not a good overpass there. Jammed down by Amato, but dug by Southern Exposure. And Amato's back in, finds the touch, and Nick Amato says, "This is my dojo." All right, that's a big swing. Nick Amato is a very, very physical player that he almost runs a 1.5 in the middle. Not a normal one tempo because he jumps so high. He just tells setters, let me jump, you just set the ball there. It's a good serve, handled very well by Southern Exposure. Tip, and there it is. Once again, Nick Amato, physical, seals off the net. No tips going his way. So far, though, we are seeing Southern Exposure finding some pretty decent passes. They've just got to find a way to go ahead and connect with their offense. Serve short, good pass, goes to the outside, swung, but a good touch. Matt Hilling unable to find a dig. That's a good touch by the Stunners there. Able to find a little bit of action on the outside there for Southern Exposure. Middle blocker Kevin Vaz into the match. Number 6 back to serve. Oh, nope, number 9. A little hard to see those numbers. It's Tim Lurich. Number 8, middle blocker. Kevin Vaz with a big block on Matt Hilling there. That's a huge turn of events for Southern Exposure. Once again, this is a team very similar to Matadors. You're going to hear them all day long. They have a lot of energy. Every guy on the bench is making sure to stay involved. Serves goes long. Unable to find it on that one. He was still able to come up with a real point during that service run, and you love to see that. Stunners extends their lead a little bit here, though, as number 12 is back to serve. Terrell Bramwell. Big jump serve toss and a huge football. That is going to go right back over to Southern Exposure. Number 4, Caleb Denmark on the line. He is an outside hitter coming from Pepperdine University, so we'll be excited to see what he's able to do on this back line. Looks like he's going up for a jump serve here. Big jump serve handled by Como on Stunners, overpass. Kevin Voss comes right back, but there's a big block touch. Nick Amato reads him wonderfully, sees the back one coming in, is able to get a back touch with the help of Matt Hilling. That's a double block, shut it down. In a play like that, an overpass is honestly an okay option because it keeps the ball alive. Garrett Como keeping that ball in front of him. Matt Hilling goes back with a float serve, rolls over. That's a good up on the side of Southern Exposure. They have a chance to send it deep. Ball played up by Stunners. Dump comes in from Schmidt. Doug, no luck popping that one up there by Joe Norman. Matt Hilling on the back line to serve. Goes right down the line, challenges number 4. Big swing out to Kevin Voss. Kevin Voss covers himself, but the refs called that with a double. Ball bounced off his chest before he was able to pop that up, getting a double contact. Once again, Nick Amato shutting that down. That is his second terminal block of the game so far. You know, when we heard about him in the pregame match, we were hearing that he is just a physical player from Coach Kirk Francis, and he is showcasing it early in this game here. Service float down the line from Matt Hilling. Set goes to the backside. Once again, Stunners showcase that this is their net. If you don't want to challenge them high or outside of their blocking scheme, they are absolutely going to punish you. And that is a solo block for number 7, Joey Jarvis, outside hitter. Huge block for the Stunners. Matt Hilling comes back with a float serve. Challenges Libero. That's a great pass. Big swing coming out of number 4, Southern Exposure. Jeff Schmidt pulls it out of the net. Number 20, Joe Norman, unable to bring that ball up. Caleb Denmark, number 4, is he's passing pretty well, but they're just not quite able to put it together right now with the Stunners blocking the way that they are. Will Cornell, the setter, is having a little bit of trouble finding his option to get out of this rotation. Matt Hilling with an easy float serve, well passed, goes to the outside. Big swing there from Southern Exposure, and an overpass brings it back. You love to see a controlled swing like that from number 2, Eddie Mushikian. When he does that, it allows the overpass to come right back, give his guys a chance to score on that overpass. Very, very smart play for him. Will Cornell back to serve, float serve. Pass well by Stunners, goes to the D-ball. Big swing down the line, uncontested. That's Terrell Bromwell. Absolute monster swing from him on the right side. He's got a massive vertical leap, so he's going to definitely be a guy to keep your eye on. He scores some big points for this team. Nick Amato on the back line now means no libero back row for Stunners. This is a time to score for Southern Exposure. Good float. Setter took that ball a little too deep. Lift is called by the ref. Decent pass, but got to give him a chance to get under that ball. Right now, it looks like some decent execution on the side of Southern Exposure, but the decision making needs to improve a little bit. But matches early, and these guys are going to find it, I think. Great pass. There goes the outside tip over the top. Outside hitter number 7 sets back set to Terrell. That's a little Joey Jarvis to Terrell Bramwell there. But initial swing there by number 20, Joe Norman, not quite able to find what he was looking for, and so he was tipping and just not getting the swing that he wanted. Stunners extend their lead almost to 10 points here. Nick Amato with the serve, finds it short in the net, and that's going to bring libero Garrett Como back onto the court. And with that, Kevin Voss back on the serving line. Last time he was on the serving line, started off the match just right with a huge ace down in the middle of the court, found number 7. See if he can do it again. Big serve. Unfortunately, he's in the tape this time, and that's just not going to do it. That's going to put Jeff Schmidt on the line for the Stunners here. Back row setter for the Stunners. Back row setter for Southern Exposure as well. Means 3 hitters on each team, so no dumps coming over. Short serve from Jeff. High ball swung by number 20, Joe Norman. Doug, Jeff Schmidt goes out to Bromwell. Bromwell getting covered on his swing. Second attempt. Touched. That's a point for the Stunners. right now we're really seeing an inability for Southern Exposure to find an offensive weapon that's going to get them side out points. They're playing some pretty decent service heat, but they're looking for a new answer right now. We've got number 14, Jacob Sisla, coming in for number 2, Eddie Mushikian. So they're bringing a big option here. Maybe someone new with a little different size maybe gets them an option that they weren't seeing right there. So definitely a good call from that coach. Excited to see that happen. We'll see what change Jacob can make here for Southern Exposure. Served by Jeff Schmitz, goes short, forces a pass out of the front row opposite. Once again, not able to set, gets a lift call. That's 2 in a short period of time here, and Southern Exposure calls a timeout. Definitely a tough situation for these guys. It's very similar to what we're talking about in that first match this morning. You got to really find your rhythm and what's going to enable you to find a way back into this match. Because right now, if you're Southern Exposure, you're down by 11 points. You're not worried about how you're going to win this game. You're not going to. So the big thing is, how do we find our energy? How do we find momentum? Let's start planning game 2, whether that's your subbing changes, that's if you're going to make an adjustment on your serve receive, what your offense is running, what your set selection looks like. Right now, they need to be having that conversation, settle the guys down, and figure out exactly what they're going to do. Because when they're coming back with the Stunners right now don't have to change a whole lot. They can kind of keep things business as usual. So a lot of pressure on Southern Exposure to make a change right now. Jeff Schmitz is going to be coming with another float serve. So far, he's really been enjoying going short. And he's been serving short to number 20, Joe Norman, the oppo, which is forcing the setter to make a difficult set because the ball is coming from behind him. So when he can't see it, he's really limited in options if it's not a great pass. Same serve we saw last time. This time it's picked up by number 14. Jeff with a big dig. Swiped off the block. Southern Exposure gets a good ball dig, and then they're having to set it and free ball over. Jeff Schmidt goes to the BIC. Matt Hilling with a big swing. Big offense there from Stunners. Just like I was talking about in the pregame, they are definitely delivering right now and showing that, hey, if you're not going to, take some swings back at us, we're just going to keep jamming it down your throat. But we got some inside information coming to us from Olivia. Olivia, take it away.
Thanks, Nick. I was over in the Southern Exposure huddle at that timeout, and they were down 11 at the time, struggling a little bit, but it was more of a pep talk. Coach's message was, let's get the nerves out. Let's just start fresh. The game is so far from being over. Nick?
Absolutely. And at this point, you don't want to overcoach the situation. We're seeing another substitution coming in. We're seeing number 9 here. That's going to be Relia, I believe, Speller. And apologies if I'm getting that wrong. But again, making some adjustments that you're trying to get some energy going here. And just not quite making it happen on the service line there. But at this point, this match has a long way to go. So just keep the guys positive. Find your little wins here and there, and just kind of keep battling. And right now, Stunners on the back line. Joey hitting this little down-the-line hybrid. That's a big swing covered by Southern Exposure. Going to the outside now. Second big block touch, and there it's thrown down by middle number 8. That's Tim Lurich. Definitely a smart play. He saw where Matt Hilling was on the other side, saw some open court, and just made it count. Southern Exposure battling there. They're taking smart swings, giving themselves a chance to keep battling, keep getting some defensive plays, and that's the kind of adjustments you definitely want to see. But Stunners right now, their blocking game is on point, and it is suffocating as a player. Also seen Southern Exposure miss a lot of serves, and that's just letting Stunners uncontestedly kind of continue right along their way. But we're going to find ourselves with Freitag for the Stunners right back on the back line. Front row hands on Southern Exposure. If the pass goes tight, keep your mind open that we might see a dump here. Great swing from number 9 for Southern Exposure. That's a huge swing for Speller. Able to get a kill down the line. Tools off the outside hand of the Stunners. It's a good coaching adjustment. We find ourselves, though, still with a 10-point lead, 22-12. Jump serve coming Southern Exposure in the net. Really just unable to find their way through what they're on the service line. They're really struggling back there. Meanwhile, Stunners is continuing to apply a lot of pressure. Number 12 on the back line, Terrell Bromwell. He's up with a toss. Big swing. That's handled well by Southern Exposure. Not a lot of options, though, for the setter. Smart swing by number 9. And that's going to be a double call. Can't do that. That's unfortunate error there for the Stunners. But that's the defense that we want to start seeing. That's a big dig from number 3, the libero for Southern Exposure. John Kaluger, he's really finding a great dig there, keeping his team going. Jump serve coming from number 4, Caleb Denmark. Great swing. Passed well by Stunners. They're in system, low set, but that's a great dig by Southern Exposure. They're back in system, low big set, but they're able to find a way to handle it. Nicamato sets outside to Hilling. Hilling swings wide, but no one is home. That ball swings way outside. That's a great point for Southern Exposure. Really starting to see them fight back a little bit here right now, shake off some of those nerves like Olivia was talking about between that timeout. That's a good look for those guys. Definitely excited to see it. Some great defense back row there by number 9, Speller. Threw out a hand, found a dig. That's a huge serve, handled well by Hilling. And that fast tip comes back, but number 19 finds the tip for Southern Exposure. Second swing, goes for a little bit over the head of a windmill swing. And a little bit of a low set to the outside there. And Jeff Schmidt's able to close it up. And no look there for number 14 on the outside for Southern Exposure. Jacob Ciesla is not having any luck, but there's a little bit of a trap set by the setter, number 19, Will Cornell there. Matt Hilling with a good float serve, coming to the outside back set. Number 9 gets blocked. That's once again, you know, it's easy to praise the winning team, but right now Stunners they're doing everything right. When you've got a team in men's volleyball that is blocking as authoritatively as they are, it's really hard to find your rhythm as Southern Exposure right now. And a lot of that also stems from their coach, Kirk Francis, said at the beginning of the game. If you are serving like that, you know, you're really putting the pressure on. So Southern Exposure is not finding the swings that they want here. And as a result, Stunners know exactly where every single ball is going, and there is double and triple blocks across the board. Nicamato set the tempo definitely early on, and everyone is following suit. I think every single guy on the Stunners front row right now has a block set up. If we're looking for a way back in Southern Exposure, they need to settle down from the get-go right now. And then they've got a couple subs that they're finding some luck with. There was a couple stops against number 9 Speller here, Relia Speller, but he was also able to find some digs back row, some good D-ball swings, and that's what you want to see, those kind of adjustments. So we'll see what their new roster for this game looks like, new lineup. Once again, I don't foresee the Stunners making any adjustments based on a lack of personnel, but also when you get a win like that, you know, why change it if it's working wonderfully for you? So they're going to keep focusing on that back service line to make sure they're putting pressure on the passers over here for Southern Exposure. Once again, if you weren't here at the beginning of the match, in order to make sure these teams are being as safe as possible, we are not switching sides here, so teams are going to remain on the same side. That way, you know, it's kind of one of the many steps we're taking here with COVID-related concerns. So everything is being sanitized between matches for all the teams, all the balls, all the benches that they're sitting on. So we're trying to make sure that the teams are taken care of as much as possible while we're out here. Utah Athletic Center has been absolutely wonderful, making sure that we are at home. They've been giving us some great help, making sure that all of our players are taken care of. Everything has just been methodically handled. We really, really appreciate that. And once again, a huge thank you to Mikasa for providing us such amazing balls to use for this event. Always love working with these guys. They really take care of us. As this timeout winds down, Stunners are taking the, not timeout, sorry, game 2. We can see the lineups looking like they're remaining mostly the same way that they ended there for both of these teams. So looks like both sides are really believing that the way they were ending is the way they want to continue this, this set. A couple of you guys are asking about in the chat for YouTube here how you can get more information on the league. If you guys go over to NVA USA, that's the National Volleyball Association, USA.com. All of these teams individually have their own websites that just got published in the last 2 or so weeks. You can find a lot of information about the players, why the teams were created, how they were created, and a little bit more about their mission statements and what they're trying to achieve with their rosters, and a little bit more about the league as a whole. as we continue down this road, we're trying to really bring out some prominent players, great level volleyball, and continue growing the sport here in the States and give a home for a lot of our guys as they finish playing in CAA level volleyball. There's a lot of guys here from, NAIA, D1, 2, 3, even club level players, and all the way up to a multitude of Olympians. If you saw last match, Russ Holmes for the Utah Stingers got on the court and showed the Matadors how it's done. So it's really a great way for a lot of young players here in the U.S. and international as well for a lot of our viewers to really see how you can get involved with the sport of volleyball, grow it, and continue your journey and your path to being a great player. Libero number 3 coming in for the Southern Exposure here. That's John Kaluger. Olivia, you've got a little bit of insight for us. What do you got for us?
Thanks, Nick. During that break on the Southern Exposure side, their talk was all about, we can play ball. Let's just make better plays. We're watching balls drop. They're looking for that libero that's coming in to be loud. They want him to be a leader on the floor, and they're only making one change on the court, but they're looking for everyone to stay loose. And on the Stunner side, Coach said leading up to this weekend that it was going to be key to be able to put away opponents early so that they can get rest, and we are absolutely seeing them do that. They came in with a plan. They wanted to be smart blockers and relentless on defense. You've been talking about it all match, and they are executing. Nick?
Absolutely. And, I love when coaches know exactly how they're trying to execute, and you see the players really, their play styles aligning with what the team is going for. What everything Coach Kirk Francis was saying before the matches, lining up the way the Stunners playing this match. And that last point there, the ball was out, however, the Stunners were pulled into the net, and that's going to go against them. But service middle blocker number 8 for Southern Exposure, Tim Lurich, is unable to serve over the net, and that's going to go point Stunners. That's going to put number 7, Joey Jarvis, on the back line for the Stunners here, as we are tied at 1-1. That's a huge serve, barely handled, saved by the ceiling here, and it's going to be free-balled over. That's handled. Jeff Schmidt goes to the backside, and that's a big swing. Southern Exposure's block is just a little late and unable to get over the net. Now, if you're noticing, that is the 3rd different serve we've seen number 7 hit this match. He hit a true float serve to start the match. He went to a hybrid float serve, and now he's going to a jump serve. This guy absolutely has a huge arsenal, and he knows how to find your weakest passer. He's going for that jump serve toss once again. Bombs a ball. There's the ace. Number 4 on Southern Exposure, Caleb Denmark, unable to handle the heat. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Number 7 is absolutely lighting balls up on that back line. We'll see what he goes with on this serving selection. I think right now you keep hitting that jump serve if you're feeling it. There it is. Oh, once again, he goes for that hybrid toss. Big set goes back, and Matt Hilling says, not today. And that's kind of what we were talking about at the end of that first match. When you're serving that well like the Stunners, it really makes your blocking scheme a lot easier to execute on. Matt Hilling is a very disciplined player, and he's going to make sure that you've got to do something special to get it past him. But it's really unique to see, Joey Jarvis on the back line goes and does the same toss once again, gets an ace. For you younger players out there that haven't seen this before, what we're really looking at here is Joey is doing the same toss for the last 4 serves, but he has hit 2 different serves off of it. So that's that 3rd point. What he's hitting is called a hybrid. He's going in and hitting a float serve. That way the server or the serve receive on Southern Exposure, if they're trying to take a step back to cushion for that jump serve, he's able to open it up to a float serve, go short, and really challenge the passers. Something like that, to have that effective tool in an arsenal for a server, it really changes the game and really makes your Southern Exposure defense have to make adjustments. It's one of those things that if you're prepared for it and you know it's coming, it's definitely a lot easier to handle, or it's more manageable. But when you're seeing it for the first time live, and this is a coast-to-coast match here, we're going Florida against California. So these players really, unless they saw each other in college, they don't know much about each other. Also, Joey Jarvis is a player from Canada, so it's unlikely that they've seen much, if anything, on this guy before. So they've got to really try and problem solve this in real time. Stunners have taken a 5-1 lead. Timeout is over, and Joey Jarvis on the back line once again. Huge serve, gets it to go his way, but it's handled well. Southern Exposure's back in system. Big swing, but that goes through the out antenna. That's not going to work for them. I don't know what the answer is right now. Maybe if you can get a good pass, find Kevin Vaz in the middle. Maybe a back row Bick to start spreading things out. But setter Will Cornell's got to start problem solving real quick here. Another serve from Joey Jarvis. Short cutty, finds an ace out the back of his own court. Once again, we are seeing a huge variety of serves to come out of one player in the same serving run. This is impressive. This is a treat to watch. Good pass by Southern Exposure. They're looking for a big set to the backside. Number 9 is Doug. Attempt at a middle, but does not quite connect. Kevin Vaz throws it back. Stunners finds a middle poke. Quick set by Will Cornell, but no connection with Kevin Vaz there. And Southern Exposure tries to save it, and they're just not having any luck there. So that's going to be, once again, a point for the Stunners. And right now, there's got to be some problem solving that's got to be going on for Southern Exposure. You're going down 7 points, 8-1 in the second set. So we'll see how this unfolds in real time. Big serve finally goes long, and with that, Joey Jarvis off of the serving line. Quite impressive run. Now with that, we see number 9 from Southern Exposure going to the back line. Speller cues up for a jump serve. Last time he served in the net. We'll see if he can make something happen this time. This time he goes long. Hopefully next time he can split the difference. We'll find him finding the court. But for now, they're not having a lot of luck. Southern Exposure prepping for number 25 freight tag on the back line for Stunners. Float serve goes short, finds an overpass. He has to pass his own ball. Middle attack gets blocked by Kevin Vaz there. Stunners keep swinging for a reset. Ooh, a little miscommunication there. Two guys want to set the ball once the setter's out, but some very disciplined blocking there from Southern Exposure, and they force Stunners to make the mistake. That's going to put number 14 from Southern Exposure on the back line. Jacob Ciesla. Big swing, handled perfectly. Ball goes back. Wow, that's a great block touch. But Southern Exposure goes to their backside. No luck, but it looks like they're calling ball down. So no net because the ball was down. Net was definitely touched there. But, you know, Southern Exposure is struggling to find the connection right now. Number 12 with the jump serve. Big swing, overpass. Matt Hilling tries to throw the ball, but that's a big block. Jeff Schmitz finds a set push over to the middle blocker, Nick Amato. Nick Amato is able to find a quick cut back over his shoulder and finds the kill at the 10-foot long tee. Right now we're seeing Stunners with a very constant serving approach, and that's hit a jump serve hard and watch the ball come right back to you on the overpass. There's a huge foot fault from number 12 once again. That's the second one this game. He hasn't quite made the adjustment, it seems, on the back line, handling how much serving room the players have here, but Southern Exposure is more than happy to take that break. That's going to put Kevin Vaz on the back line with no libero in for Southern Exposure. Tries to match the effectiveness the Stunners have had on the back line. Doesn't quite find it. Sends that serve long. Big swing to the outside. Southern Exposure. That is the first big swing we have seen from them. Number 4, Caleb Denmark, absolutely hammers that ball and shows he is still ready to play. I'm seeing a couple people on YouTube chatting about connections, and yeah, that's definitely a big thing here. Because of the timing in this league, a lot of players are doing their very best to, with COVID and everything, they're trying to stay on form and make sure that they're in shape. But a lot of these teams normally train in the same region. But when you have a shortage of players, some guys from these rosters have gone overseas. These rosters are bringing in other players throughout the U.S. and throughout the world to help fill out roster spots. So some of these guys are slotting in and playing for the first time. They're trying to develop chemistry in real time. So that is definitely something that you are seeing develop in real time, and is going to continue throughout this event. As we get back into the play here, that's a huge set from the setter, number 19, Will Cornell. Absolutely flaunts a beautiful face to the net set. Finds the backside swing there. That's a great play from Southern Exposure. Love to see that kind of swing. Number 4 is on the back line once again, Caleb Denmark. Huge serve, handled well by number 18, Matt Hilling, and a big swing by number 7, but he is unable to find the court, and Southern Exposure is putting together a little run here. Love to see this happening for these guys, getting some energy back in them, a little pep in the step. Number 4, Caleb Denmark on the back line once again. See if he can put some pace on the ball once again. Big swing, there it is. Hilling handles it once again, absolutely able to handle that. Joey Jarvis finds the line on that ball though. Doesn't miss twice, he says. Finds that ball live down the line. Matt Hilling's got some pretty impressive passing rapport. If you watch him, when he finds a ball with that much speed, he breaks his entire platform and moves his body and able to take a bunch off. And he keeps that ball inside the 10-foot line, enabling Jeff Schmidt to run whatever he wants. Southern Exposure finds a middle connection. Number 7 able to keep it alive and goes for a big swing on the outside. Blocker pulls on a triple block. Number 9 brings his hands down. And number 7 there, Joey Jarvis, is not having any of it. Tools off the block outside. Puts Jeff Schmidt on the back line once again. Stunners move to an 8-point lead. Back set on the Bic. Looks like number 4 is a tad bit late there, so he's trying to kind of roll shot and place that into the corner, but unable to do so. That's going to go Stunner's way. That's going to be a timeout for Southern Exposure. Once again, you know, these guys are looking like they've got moments of some brilliance that we didn't see in the first set, and they're trying to kind of put it all together, but stringing together points when you've got a team that's serving at you like Stunners, and you just cannot rattle. They're serving, or they're passing right now. That's a couple huge serves coming out of number 4, Caleb Denmark, but Matt Hilling able to break him down twice, and they're able to get that side out through Joey Jarvis on the outside. We haven't seen too much offense coming out of the Stunners middles yet, but when you've got Joey Jarvis and Matt Hilling hitting the way they are, I don't think you really need it. That's definitely something to keep an eye on as this tournament progresses, though. The Stunners are definitely a very offensive team that they know how to find the digs, so you've got to take it to them and challenge them. Southern Exposure right now, we're kind of waiting to see them show us what their way back into this match is. First and foremost, I think they've really got to start dialing in serves, whether it's they find a target and they go to some float serves, keep people honest, or it's finding a little bit better connection from the setters and the hitters. They've got a lot of weapons over there, so I know that they can do it. It's kind of just finding that little bit of a connection. Easy serve, handled, but that's going to be a double. You know, when Jeff Schmidt hands a layup over to Southern Exposure, they're not quite able to handle it the way they need. That set goes tight, and Will Cornell tries to handle it to the best of his ability, but that's going to be a little too tight, and he doubles on that contact. Southern Exposure goes backside now. Blocked by Stunners, chipped to keep alive, and Stunners try to trace that down. They're able to keep it live. Free ball's going to be coming back. Jeff Schmidt throws it deep in the corner. Then Will Cornell goes to the outside. Big swing, dug, picked up, going for the repeat set, goes back outside. Big swing down the line, and that is a kill for Southern Exposure. They are able to find, we're seeing all sorts of call. Balls in, there's a net on the side of the Stunners, and there's a touch. Excellent rally there on both sides. Love to see Southern Exposure taking control of the ball and making sure that they are in control of that one right there. Float serve from the middle, number 8 coming for Southern Exposure. Jeff Schmidt tries to track a ball down, and Stunners are going to have to give a free ball back. Unfortunately not handled by Southern Exposure. Jeff Schmidt runs his offense, and he throws a tight ball outside. Net called on number 9 here for Southern Exposure. That was a bit of a toss-up play, but we're going to hear a little bit more. Olivia, what do you got?
Thanks, Nick. At that time out, Southern Exposure was talking about how they didn't have an answer for the power block from the Stunners on the outside, but we actually saw them take advantage of it right there, but they want to see them run the 30 and the Bic, and of course they want more communication. Nick?
Absolutely. If you guys aren't aware of the Bic, that's the back row attack out of the quick there. 30 is going to help them open up some of the spacing and create some movement in the block, because right now they're having to run a very standard offense that the Stunners are just sitting on. And Matt Hilling looks for the tip, but that's a great sound block from Southern Exposure there. And the repeat set, talked about it earlier, you cannot set Matt Hilling too fast. He's not big on a large approach, but what he does very well is he close steps to the ball, able to take a good smart swing, and he uses blockers that are late, going hard angle there, and absolutely abuses a Southern Exposure block. Once again, number 7 on the back line, Joey Jarvis for Stunners. Last time he was there, absolutely manhandled. Ooh, just misses long. That's a lucky break for Southern Exposure after not seeing an answer for him last time he was on the line. But now we're seeing number 9 coming to the back line for Southern Exposure. That is Relia Speller. Trying to find his way into this. He's missed short, then missed long, so hopefully he finds a little calibration here. Big toss. Foot fault. Not his day on the back line at all. It's going to open us up at least a 10-point lead here for the Stunners. And that's going to put middle blocker number 25, free tag, on the back line for Stunners. It's a good pass by Southern Exposure. Looks for the middle, a little low. Kevin Voss chips it to keep it alive. Setter's out. Nick Amato goes to the outside, and there's a huge net for Southern Exposure. Unable to keep it clean. Now, if you ever get in the gym with Nick Amato, he's one of those guys that's the first one out of a water break looking to set the rest of his teammates. We saw it earlier where he collided with someone else in the back row about who was going to take the second ball when Jeff Schmitz passed the first one, and he's always more than happy to set that ball to the outside. Float goes long for free tag. So that's going to put, let's see, number 14 on the back line for Southern Exposure. Austin Loveff goes with a big jump serve. That's good control. Handled well by Stunners. Goes to the backside. Big swing, and that is the huge block that Southern Exposure has been waiting for. Number 4, Caleb Denmark absolutely sets a perfect block on the pin. Kevin Voss closes all the way out, and that's a huge stuff block. Bringing a little bit of life back into Southern Exposure and giving them something to get excited about. Big toss, number 14, goes inside out, cuts it down the line to Matt Hilling. Set goes back outside of Matt Hilling, but once again, Matt beats the pins and finds a swing into the corner. (22-11). We got an 11-point lead for the Stunners as number 12 is on the back line. That is going to be Terrell Bromwell. Big swing, handled well by the libero from Southern Exposure. Set goes outside, big swing. Nick Amato blocks it back into the chest, number 4. And that's a dump from Will Cornell. He looks for my turn. You know what? Maybe the hitters are having some trouble. Let me get my turn. Turns around, is able to throw that ball down, and Matt Hilling not quite able to grab that one. Nikki in chat, these are all going to be best of 5 matches, every match here. So we've got about 25 matches this weekend. This is the second match of the day, and it's going to be, this is our second best of 5. So we're in game 2 right now. That is a classic pineapple coming from Jeff Schmitz. The one-hand chuck to the corner. No one home. He's able to catch everyone sleeping, and he tags that line. Easy pass for Southern Exposure. Goes to the outside. Number 4 goes for a big swing, but he finds a tip. That's a really smart swing. He's definitely challenging the Stunners on a high ball there. Where they've really been struggling is if they're swinging on the lower seam, Stunners are definitely closing their block. So it's good to see him swinging high and challenge them, make the move. Set goes backside to the D ball, tipped over the top, reset. Bad second ball. That's going to be over. Yep. Southern Exposure chasing that ball. That ball was completely across the plane of the net. I'm not sure if that's some disagreement or if that's just an overall displeasement with that decision making there with the outside, but that's going to put Nick Amato on the back line here as we're wrapping up game number 2. Big set to the outside on that gap run to the middle. Jeff Schmitz with a kick to keep it alive. Free tag, free balls it over. Handled by the libero. Goes to the outside once again. Big swing by number 9 on Southern Exposure. Matt Hilling's ready to help out. Tight set goes over the net. Big throw down. That's a smart play by number 8, Tim Lurich. He definitely finds the open court there. Says, thank you very much. I'll take the easy point here, and throws it down. Nice little kick dig there in the middle of the play by Jeff Schmitz. But I love to see Southern Exposure with a little bit more fight in them right now. They are battling for these balls and not letting it go down early. That's a great dig in the middle of the rally by number 3 on Southern Exposure. Great pass by Garrett Como. Stunners back in system. Number 7, Joey Jarvis just makes that look easy. That's going to wrap up game 2 here. And as this might be a quick 3 and done here as the Stunners head back to their bench. Just a quick reminder for anyone that has been, I'm going to be saying it between every game from the beginning of this, just so everyone's on the same page. We are not going to be changing sides here. We are trying to be as safe as we can with COVID, and so players are going to be maintaining their side. We're cleaning balls, cleaning benches, everything between games and matches here. So doing our best to respect the players and keep everything as safe as possible for our athletes this weekend. If you guys haven't seen already, you can always go check out nvausa.com. You can see new websites that were made in the last couple weeks here for all these teams. There's going to be photos for all these guys, you know, a little breakdown of where they played, what previous pro teams they've played for. Get to learn a little bit more, and there's a lot of mission statements. You can find out what these teams are all about. A lot of the teams right now that are in the league have done a lot of work, and they've been around for a long time, or they're brand new, and they've got owners that might have been affiliated with the NBA for a while, and they're putting together some solid squads. We've got a lot of international guys that are coming in to help bolster some of these rosters while some Americans are overseas playing their contracts. But overall, big start for the weekend here that we're seeing from the Stunners over in the National League. If you haven't heard already, the way the league is structured, we've got the National League and the American League. The National League is comprised of the OC Stunners and the Southern Exposure, as you see here. They've also got the Las Vegas Ramblers and Team Freedom. On the other side, we've got the American League, which has the Utah Stingers and the Ontario Matadors, which you saw this morning. And later on, you're going to see LA Blaze against the Tennessee Tyrants. Tennessee is one of our newest additions to the league. They're sporting some hot orange that's going to be pretty exciting to see on their jersey. I'm looking forward to that. And the way that we're handling these first 2 days, it's going to be a little round-robin action of National League versus everyone in their pool, and the American League with everyone versus their pool. So 3 matches over the next 2 days for each of these teams. Everything's going to be a best of 5, and we're running all the way through with a continuous stream late tonight. So if you guys are able to catch certain matches, definitely stop by, and we're going to be able to bring some high-level play for you. And you saw in that last match with the Matadors and the Stingers, those guys started off a little rough. Everyone kind of figuring out some of their systems and things like that, but that match definitely escalated, and I think we're seeing a similar thing here for Southern Exposure. Maybe a little bit of a rough start to their tournament for them, but definitely do not count these guys out. There's a wealth of experience, knowledge, and size on this team, and definitely looking forward to see what they're going to do in this game as well as the rest of this tournament. Stunners obviously bringing a high level of play, the best we've seen of the day. They are firing on all cylinders, and this is something you can definitely expect to see from this team. Jeff Schmitz is doing a fantastic job spreading them wide right now with the middle blockers executing at a very high level. So Garrett Como holding it down in the back row, number 27 for them. But Matt Hilling's also been quite an all-star in the passing. Their serve receive has been stellar as a team. So we'll have to see what the Southern Exposure answer is and what they're trying to do. Right now it looks like they've been really having to go pin to pin quite a bit, setting their outsides, but they're not quite finding ways to capitalize on that. So if they're able to improve the passing a little bit, maybe establish their middles and spread out that stunner block a little bit, that's really going to help buy them some time. Here we go. We're getting into game 3, and that's going to put Will Cornell out on the service line here. Number 19. Will's been having some tough balls to have to set, but we've seen him play some pretty solid volleyball. He's gotten some great sets. A couple earlier that were some pretty impressive ones. So we'll see how he can lead this team here. See, we got Shane Beamer in the chat right now. He's a stunner that is currently playing overseas, supporting his boys. Good to see it. Smart tip going over. That's going to be a save from Will with a big swing dug by Matt Hilling. That is wiped off the hands by Jeff Schmidt to start the match in game 3 here. We are currently playing in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are at the Utah Athletic Center. They have been a wonderful home for the NVA out here in Utah, helping the Stingers out, and they've been working diligently to make sure that we're taken care of. Done a lot of work to make sure that COVID is being handled responsibly so athletes are able to compete healthily. Wow, that's a huge block picked up by the Stunners. Kevin Voss unloads on a ball and says, this is our point. Southern Exposure is here to play, boys. Toss from number 1, big serve on the back line, handled well by the Stunners, goes to the backside. Number 7 with the roll over the top, Joey Jarvis. That's a great pickup from the libero from the Southern Exposure, but number 12 on the Stunners, Terrell Bramwell, absolutely jumping through the roof to slam that tip straight down. He was having none of that. Talked earlier about how well that guy jumps, and if you were not expecting it and not believing me then, you see it now. Joey Jarvis on the back line once again, crushing a jump serve, and this one goes live. I think we've got a little special report here. Olivia, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Nick. In that last break, the Southern Exposure was really, their goal was to dig Joey Jarvis, number 7, who just went back to the line. Let's see if they get another chance there, but they also talked about they need to give themselves the options when they're passing. They're not doing themselves any favors there. They're really looking to clean up ball control. And when it comes to serving for them, they're looking to, quote, rip it from the line.
I mean, the coach knows what he's talking about. At this point, you know, I don't know about digging Joey on the offense when he's front row or off the service line, but either way, he's hitting that ball so hard, you're not even passing the serve, you are digging it. While we were talking, there was a big serve from Kevin Voss that went to the corner, and that was an ace. That's a big momentum swinger. There's a big set to the outside, and Matt Hilling tries to go. It looks like a net gets called here, but the ball's in live as well. Matt Hilling showcasing what he can do when he's swinging deep into the court. Kevin Voss' serving run is cut short. This is going to put number 25, middle blocker, on the back line here. For the Stunners, serve short, well handled by Southern Exposure. Huge swing down the line, number 4. He is absolutely here to play. That's a couple big swings we've seen from Caleb Denmark as he's trying to keep the energy high and keep his boys on Southern Exposure in the game. But those sets that are high coming out of Will Cornell, that's definitely the way to get him involved on that pin. If it's low, there's no chance he's getting through that right side block. Unfortunately, the back line is still just not working. That's the 4th serving error for number 9, Raylia Speller. He's really got to find something to work for him, even if it's going to a float serve to keep that ball alive. But we've got number 12 on the back line now for Terrell Bromwell. Big serve, he goes long as well. Welcome to men's volleyball, where the serve does just not land in the court. Caleb Denmark on the back line for Southern Exposure right now. Big serve, hand passed easy by Garrett Como with a big swing by Matt Hilling. That is impressive. You will rarely see a libero that likes going to his hands, but Garrett Como is a very rare exception in that sense. He is very, very confident hand passing in his very strong hands. So when you see jump serves coming at him, he's not going to take a step back. He's going to step in, use his hands, and get an aggressive pass like that. Good ball by Southern Exposure, goes to the outside. Good touch. That looks like a touch on the block. Yep. That's a great swing from number 1 from Southern Exposure. Right now, he has been a couple, Tyler Hubbard has been able to get a couple points for these guys. Looking good out there. Another one of the team's many adjustments, trying to find something that's going to work for him. It's going to bring number 16 to the back line, Langston Payne. Jump serve. Goes off speed. Matt Hilling puts it high in the middle of the court. Jeff Schmitz runs Nick Amato from off the net. Finds it, pokes it over. D-ball runs. Ball goes out. No touch on the block. Stunner stays clean, and that's number 9. Speller is unable to convert there. Nick Amato on the back line, looking at a float serve most likely here. A little bit of a miscommunication on the Stunners as Garrett Como, as the libero, tries to make his front row debut in the tournament. But Will Cornell with a huge set and unable to convert for Speller, but Will really shows that he is very comfortable going face to net, finding ways to get his hitters involved, but that just couldn't quite connect there. I don't think Speller was quite expecting it on the backside. Nick Amato on the float serve once again. This time he serves him to the bottom of the tape. Southern Exposure back to serve this time. We're going to see Will Cornell in the back line himself. Good float down the line. Jeff Schmidt with the most smooth dump. Looks like he's got a middle option and free tag up in front of him. Slowly delivers the most just tantalizing tip as that just crawls over the net. No one even close to touching that ball. Good pass by the libero from Southern Exposure, and Kevin Vaz unloads on it. Good cover there. Kevin Vaz goes in to swing on 2, finds a touch. Unable to pull it out by Southern Exposure. It was a good attempt by Will Cornell. Right now we're seeing a lot of success from the libero for the most part with John Kaluger. He's passing pretty well for Southern Exposure. They're just not quite connecting between the hitters and Will Cornell, their setter. But that's going to lead Stunners up to the 9-7, 2-point lead here. Jeff Schmitz on the back line. Great pass once again by Southern Exposure. Good run, but too low for Kevin Voss to connect with, so he's tipping live. Joey takes an off the net swing, but just chisels. He's got some space to swing down the line, so he's going to take it. Once again, low set, kind of misusing an opportunity they have with Kevin Voss in the middle there and not quite able to convert. Jeff Schmitz on the back line. It's a good pass once again. There it is, a little bit higher, but still too high. Joey just dumps the ball down in front of Will Cornell. If number 7, Joey Jarvis, has shown us anything, if that man has every single swing in his book, if he wants to tip in front of you, he wants to swing high hands, chisel off the side, he's got it all. He is a very, very physical player, and he has not been able to be exploited at all yet by the block on Southern Exposure. And worse yet, once he gets back row, his serving lethality has been also a huge issue for the Southern Exposure team. But definitely someone to keep your eye on as this tournament unfolds, and a huge pickup for the Southern team. A little gift from Ray Zetto, one of last year's All-Star Canadian outsides. Right now, I think Southern Exposure is doing a little bit of problem solving. And at this point, again, it's a long day. You wanna start finding how you're going to get back involved with this match. And right now, the big thing that we're seeing is Will Cornell has got to start finding a way to connect with his setters. He's undersetting Kevin Voss, then he's oversetting, and some of those pins are not quite connecting. So right now, the only guy we're really see firing on all cylinders is number 4, Caleb Denmark. So right now, I think we're going to see a set probably go to the outside, unless we get a perfect pass, and they might try Kevin Voss one more time. And I'm actually incorrect. Number 4 is still back row. My apologies. So we're going to probably see if we get a good pass. I think they're going to go try run Kevin one more time. Ooh, they go to the back row option to find number 4, but there's a dig by Jeff Schmitz. Tight play at the net, airing a ball out. And number 7, Joey is finding once again. He's got a tip now to the deep corner. Jeff Schmitz with one of the most impressive digs of the day we've seen. Low defense. I couldn't tell if that was a kick dig or if he got that with an open palm, but keeping that ball alive and absolutely refusing to let that ball go down. Olivia, you got a little bit of insight during that timeout. What do you got for us?
Hi, Nick. A little bit of frustration from Coach Corey Marks for Southern Exposure. He said they need to spread the block out in transition. They're just late. They're not doing what he wants to see, and it's going to make a big difference if they can correct that. Nick?
Absolutely, and I mean, we're seeing it once again. The hard part is right now is the Stunners aren't even getting double blocks. I mean, they're going one-on-one with their hitters, and they are winning the matchup in blocks. Right there, you see Joey Jarvis with a huge solo block, and it is just demoralizing as a hitter to see every single time you're swinging, you're getting touched. And I mean, that's a great swing right there for number 4. Caleb Denmark still finding a kill, but it's not without being touched. You know, every ball, they're struggling to find a clean kill. And as a hitter, that starts to get in your head. You start to challenge yourself, and you start to really question if what you're doing is the right move. So right now, Stunners is building a lot of mental real estate up in their opponents. But we're seeing a lot of fire from number 1 over here on Southern Exposure. Free ball comes back. Let's see if Southern Exposure can do something with it. Kevin Voss with a big swing, but that's dug up with the Stunners there. Another tip. That's good. Rolled and tipped and thrown into the corner. Stunners are going to just go ahead and free ball this ball over to keep it live. Once again, Southern Exposure setting up, goes to the outside, and number 4 with a big swing, not able to be dug down the line by Jeff Schmitz, regardless of a good touch attempt. I got to say, the outsides are absolutely scrapping for Southern Exposure right now, trying to make this happen. Number 1 has been a huge substitution, bringing in a lot of fire. That's Tyler Hubbard, absolutely crushing serves. They might be handled by Stunners, but he's finally putting some pressure and making them make moves. We're also seeing a lot of big swings from number 4 on the outside, Caleb Denmark. But right there, just going to tip options on the right side, and number 9 is just not finding his rhythm right now. Aurelia Speller is just not quite finding it. A lot of discipline blocking, though. A lot of credit to be given to the Stunners. They are finding sound blocks. They're not getting used and the ball thrown off their hands. But Joey Jarvis back on the back line once again. Serves into the net there. This is a chance for Southern Exposure to get a little 1 or 2 point run, especially with a big serve like Kevin Vaz coming to the court right now. Big service ace, and there it is once again. The service run from Kevin Vaz has absolutely shown that he is one of the lifebloods to this team, scoring some points right now and something that they can rely on. So you love seeing him get there and being aggressive. Once again, goes to the backside. Big swing, kept alive by Southern Exposure. They're going to just air this ball out, keep it safe with the backside. And Tyler Hubbard with a great shot into the, oh, that's called out. Thought he had that one, but very smart swing regardless. Wasn't quite able to find it, but again, we're seeing Southern Exposure battle here. A little 3-point difference is definitely not insurmountable. They got plenty of time. Free tag back to serve for Stunners. Great pass by Tyler Hubbard. Quick middle attack. New middle. Oh, that's number 16. That is Langston Payne. He's been in this game, but we haven't seen him get involved, so I think that's one of his first attacks, and that's a huge set. They're keeping him high, keeping him away from other blockers, and movement like that. See him running that 3 in transition really, really opens up some offensive options here. We're going to see Jeff Schmitz air this out, and number 12 with a big swing on the side of the Stunners. Super physical right side for the Stunners. Terrell Bramwell is just having his way, though. He is getting after every ball. Doesn't care if it's a high ball or quick tempo. Let him just get after that ball. Bramwell with the toss. Big swing. Handled perfectly by Tyler Hubbard. Number 4 with a big swing. Goes off D'Amato's head, but dug out of the backside by Joey Jarvis. Matt Hilling with a big out-of-system swing, and a pulled block by Will Cornell opens up a hole that Tyler Hubbard was not expecting and unable to defend against. Again, the outside hitters for Southern Exposure are really trying to pull this team through. Tyler Hubbard is playing phenomenally for this team. And we're seeing Caleb Denmark still continue to be an offensive threat. So hopefully these two can kind of open up some space for the rest of the team to get involved. That serve goes long by number 12 there for the Stunners. Bromwell with a couple serves there opens it up, but that's going to put Caleb Denmark on the back line, brings Tyler Hubbard to the front row. Excited to see if Tyler Hubbard's able to keep scoring some points. That's a jump. It's a foot fault, though. And that's a perfect pass by Joey Jarvis to boot. It's not quite able to score. That's going to put Matt Hilling on the back line. Matt Hilling, similar to Joey Jarvis, has a affinity for a variety of serves. You'll see him sometimes hitting a jump serve, sometimes goes for a float, and he also has a deep hybrid that he hits. Right now he's going after that float serve, though. Well passed by Southern Exposure out to the outside. Tyler Hubbard absolutely hammers the ball, but that's a net call on the Stunners. I believe number 4, Jeff Schmitz, the setter, goes into the net. That's a good challenge. Tyler Hubbard drawing the foul there. Jeff Schmitz had no option but to try and take that line swing away because Hubbard was really lined up well and wasn't able to get there cleanly without committing a foul. Aggressive toss, but once again, that's a foot fault, and Southern Exposure just cannot get off that line right now. 2 back-to-back foot faults is not the way to go about this. We see number 3 there, Libero, coming back into the match. That's going to be John Kaluger. He's been passing very, very well for this team, but they just gotta find some offense. Ball is laid up. Will goes back to the D-ball. Swing dug by Matt Hilling, and then that's going to go over on 2 and used by Joey Jarvis off of Will Cornell's hands. Stunners is slowly but surely extending their lead here in this set. 6-point lead now. Joey Jarvis is showing to be one of the most dominant hitters. Definitely saw some big swings from opposite George Mencia last match for the Stingers, but right now we got a little battle if you have checked out both matches. But that's a big swing right there from the outside for Southern Exposure. Tyler Hubbard absolutely showing his stuff. Goes deep into the corner. Good pass by Joey Jarvis into the middle. That's a huge cutback by number 25 for the Stunners, Michael Freytag, he hasn't had a whole lot of offense today, but he's definitely shown his ability to block and, keep rallies extended as he goes to the back line. So seeing a quick turn like that, finding the middle of the court, it's a good look for him. Jeff Schmitz on the back line. Serves short, passed well. Goes to the back row, but Freytag was sitting right there, just like I said. He's really delivering on the blocking defensive side as a middle blocker. We're going to get a timeout from Southern Exposure. While Southern Exposure has been struggling to kind of find their stride here, I do want to highlight what they're doing well, and that's definitely seen from the passing side. Number 3, John Kaluger, he is absolutely dialed in right now. For as tough as these serves are, John is really battling. And then we have finally found kind of a mix of outsides that seems to be getting some work done between number 1, that's Tyler Hubbard, as well as number 4 for them, that's going to be Caleb Denmark. These guys are really finding the only points. They've not had a right side, and the connection with the middles has really been non-existent. So it works out well in terms of their sizing matchup. We have seen Joey Jarvis and Matt Hilling absolutely handling the left side of the court. And the middle blockers are absolutely delivering between Amato and Freytag as well. So attacking the smallest guy on the court, Jeff Schmitz, and then Terrell, who's a smaller guy as well, Bromwell, number 12. It gives you a little bit more options, and they're finding some success there. So we'll see if Southern Exposure is able to continue with that. But right now, it's looking meek, looking like a 3-0 is about to happen. Well passed there by Southern Exposure. Kevin Voss gets up high, but once again dug by Matt Hilling. Set goes outside. Joey Jarvis looks for a chisel. Gets a triple block against him. That's a great touch by Southern Exposure. Set goes to the back row. A little bit confused on who it is, so it's a libero free ball over. Backside goes up, and Terrell gets touched. Backside Bick. Bick gets shut down. Kevin Voss says not today. Great help by Tyler Hubbard on the right. Southern Exposure is still here to fight. That's a great stop by the middle blocker, Kevin Voss. The Stunners playing some solid defense, so seeing a stop like that happen was a great look. John Kaluger is still absolutely dialed in the back row and just making dig after dig happen to extend rallies for Southern Exposure, but Tyler Hubbard goes onto the back line and misses that serve, putting number 7 on the line here. Once again, Joey's got a chance. He missed his last serve. He had a great run early on, and it's kind of calmed down a little bit here, but he goes for that jump serve, and as I speak, he delivers. That's an ace from number 7, Joey Jarvis, taking us to match point, 24-16 Stunners. Absolute monster of a swing back there from him. Goes for a little hybrid, changes it up, still handled well by Southern Exposure, goes to the backside, number 9, finally finds a swing, but Garrett Como digs that perfectly. Matt Hilling tries to set a ball, and it was not with him that time. That is a double called against him. That is a great dig down the line by Como, number 9, or number 27, sorry, but that was a big swing by number 9. Speller was finally able to find a ball past the blocker there. Kevin Voss on the back line to serve for match point. Finds the tape, Matt Hilling in system. Goes to the back row, and number 7 with a big swing. Tyler Hubbard, absolute perfect dig. Big swing, but that goes to the outside. Block, set, match, Stunners. That's going to do it for us, 3 and out. That was, matches like that are tough. We see the teams waving here. Just a reminder, we are not shaking hands, being mindful of COVID and social distancing. So absolutely handling that very, very well. And one of the big things that we want to be mindful of when you see a match like that from the Stunners is, Southern Exposure, that's a tough spot to be in because there's a lot of weapons coming in from Stunners. So it's hard to have anything bad to say about Southern Exposure there. They were still fighting. They were finding ways to try and compete, but that was a definite clinic by Stunners on how you want to see a team serving, passing. Their blocking was impeccable in the early part of that match to really just kind of shut Southern Exposure down, and it really put Southern Exposure on the back foot trying to find a way that they were going to connect and be able to be successful there. But Definite good start in the national side for the Stunners. After this, the way that we are running the event now, instead of shutting the stream down after this, we are going to go ahead and run a continuous stream. So after this match, we're going to go to a brief break, and we're going to bring it back to you 15 minutes before the next set. We're running matches every 2.5 hours. So that's going to bring the next match on, I believe, at 1 o'clock here in Utah. So we're going to get, I think Olivia's got a little interview coming up for us here. We're going to hear something in a little bit from her. And definitely an exciting match, though. We were talking a lot, before the match. How are Stunners is the one team that's still here from the NVA. How are they going to handle battling back? And they definitely showcased that they were able to handle it. So definitely a good look for this team. And we still got some stuff to see, I think, from Southern Exposure. So don't count them out just yet. But definitely a good look for those guys. Up next, I believe we're going to have LA Blaze here. And I'm not sure who they're playing off the top of my head. They're going to be Tennessee Tyrants here. But we're going to throw it over to Olivia.